It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super Optimus. Or, yeah, whatever. I don't see Superman trying to impersonate Transformers, so I don't really know why Optimus is doing it with his giant ass cape. Trying to be like Superman, yeah. Today's mod, we will be taking this cape and turning it into this. Giving him smokestacks, no cape, fully transformable, and yeah. Okay, this is part 1 of a 5-part tutorial where I will be fully modding my Optimus Prime from Transformers Prime. First, for today's mod, we shall be doing a backpack mod on the other side. If you read the forums, you will know that this was a unfortunate superglue accident where I tried to clean it with thinners and yeah, I ruined it. But for today we will be doing this side. On the other parts to come, we will be doing a hand mod, some filling, and a proper paint job. Also, maybe later on, sculpt our own weapon that will look similar to the first edition one. As you can see, for this backpack mod, it folds around Optimus. There's normally, then it folds up, that, fold that part down, and fold it in. Okay. Extremely secure, doesn't wobble, doesn't make him back heavy, can pose him rather easily, and yeah. For this mod, you will need a box of jewelry hinges, well, 2, 15 by 20 millimeter. A box cutter or an exacto knife. I don't have an exacto knife, so I'm using a box cutter. Your 2-part epoxy glue, metal file, and a set of wire cutters. Okay, first off, what you want to do is take this piece off and put your Optimus there. You want to remove the smokestack, but you don't want to damage this part. This part is very important as it forms the lock, which will keep this secure for when it goes into truck mode. See, how flimsy. It forms a secure lock. So make sure that you don't damage that part. Okay, after you've removed this part without damaging that little plug-in part in that hole, I'm going to take a box cutter and cut along these panel lines. Okay, now that you have these 4 separate parts, you need to prepare them for the hinges that you're going to put on them. That's where your metal file comes in. You're going to have to file the top of each one nice and flat and smooth to get rid of all those cut marks. So they're nice and smooth. Do that for all 4 of them. Okay, now that you've nicely filed all these pieces nice and straight, you need to prep them for the hinges by cutting out all this detail and then filing it down to make it nice and smooth. The only detail which you need to make sure that you don't cut out is that one. This one is very important because it is where it locks into that part. To make sure when you're cutting out all this detail not to cut this little piece here. For this one you can just smoothen it all out. Same with this one, except for the part that pegs into Optimus's shoulder piece. For this one, also just smoothing it out, just don't cut off the ball joint area. But the rest you can smooth out and leave this as well. Smoothing all nice and out. Be careful when cutting this piece, kinda just slipped and chopped my finger, so yeah, just be careful when smoothing these parts out. Now that you've smoothened all the parts out, just check if your lock works and just check it from the side, see if see, it looks decent, not like any bad crevices. Smooth them all out. And here's the culprit for my finger cut. Okay, this part is very important for prep because it's also the only part that you actually have to majorly cut into for the hinges to work. Here, as you can see, you have to actually cut into it to allow space for the actual hinge to go. At least just make sure you measure it properly, otherwise you will have a big, nice gap, which you shouldn't have, but I was kind of rushing and yeah. So just make sure to measure how big your hinges are before you just go and cut stuff. Okay. Now for the hinges. The set comes with two hinges. This one you will have to cut for the top part, and for the hinge, for the first hinge. This one will also need to be cut to allow space for that lock. It will essentially sit in like that, like so, where you have to cut that little piece there to make space for it. That's where your bolt cutter comes in handy. Basically, a good surefire is to just cut this circle out. Got it there. And got it there. You see? Makes a perfect little snug fit. You can screw in these hinges if you want. I'm just gonna epoxy glue them in. Work just fine. Second part, make sure this part is on top. This basically glues on. Nice little snug fit there. Okay, this one you're going to have to cut in half, essentially. This will cause a bunch of problems, which are solvable by the first one being it will have this little top part which will allow it not to slip out, and this one, just keep a piece of the trimmings from the inside to just glue it there so this part can't slide out either. That fixes that problem. So what you want to do, see where the center line is, and then just cut there. Do the same on the other side. Like so. Now we've got two independent hinges. Cool. Now remove the one like so. Just pull them all off. Well, not all of them off. Preferable to keep the one on, actually. Otherwise you don't know where to cut. You want to cut right down the middle for the other one. It should be left with two separate hinges. this one, or whichever one you pick. I'm gonna pick this one since it already has a skew cut there. Put that off there. Okay, what do you want to do? Or clearly the ones I bought yesterday were a little longer than these ones. Seeing as this one just fits in place. Basically just glue these in place like that. Don't worry about covering the hole, it's deep. It should be deep enough for this to plug in. We will glue those in first, and then we shall cut into this one as these other pieces sit. Now you just mix your 2-part epoxy. Second. Just read the label on your glue. Each one's different setting times, different ways of mixing, but this is how mine specifies. And then just mix it into it's all a single shade. Okay. Now you just take your parts which are going to be glued. Yeah, make sure not to get into the hole there. Don't worry about making a mess. You will paint it all out when we get to the painting phase. Try not to smear anything. If you do, it's not the end of the world, since we are going to have to use sandpaper before we paint all this. So, not the end of the world. I have to work pretty fast since mine takes 3 minutes to start curing. So, work a little fast. Should work a little faster. Blue bits. Okay. Push down. Put that part in. Ah, look at that. Okay. I ended up having to cut that part to make it fit. Now we've glued our hinges in place. Just leave it for 15 minutes, well, however long your product tells you to let it set for. Now, the difficult part about this mod, cutting that. If you look closely to this, the hinge will actually sit a little beneath the wheel. This is due to the actual transformation. So, when cutting it, it will take up approximately just a bit above the silver part. So just shave off a bit of the silver part from here and cut it in approximately the same width as the hinge. So cut it in about that much. So just take a Sharpie or whatever you have and then just mark off how much you have to cut off. Say a safe bet would be, if you can see inside there's a little groove. Inside there's a little groove. So cut about that whole depth of that little groove that's on top. Right there. Just cut it all the way down. Okay, here I've cut this piece out and filed it nice and smooth. Let's check on this. Okay, first one bent quite smooth. Unlock. How it's supposed to bend. We'll bend over, but like so. It's nice and sturdy. Yeah, quite happy with it. Okay. Now, you'll do the same thing. Mix sure your epoxy. Place it here. And then your hinge will fit into there. And as for gluing it onto here, you'll have to wait for this to set, then glue it into here, because you have to actually fold this into truck mode. Then you'll see it will bump against here and you'll have to file just a slight bit away. Then add your epoxy to this and then slide it in and then leave it in truck mode to actually set. I'm going to now just glue this part on and I'll be back once this part and this part is completely set. Now that this piece has set, what you want to do is transform your Optimus. Don't mind this is just, yeah. Transform your Optimus. Now, what you want to do is, this part needs to be able to slide into here. But as you can see, it can't. There's not enough clearance. So what you have to do, okay, you have to take your file and file here until there's enough clearance for this part to sit here with this folding over. Take your file and just file away at this until there's enough clearance. Now that I've filed away here and here to make enough clearance for this part to be able to slide in, you can see that when it falls, there's a problem. It's getting stuck on those little bits. Those little triangle bits. You have to either cut or file them out to make it nice and smooth, like on this side. See, little triangles, smooth. Now, you can see I've filed it away so that when I glue this part in, there's something for it to fold over to. Also, what you would maybe want to do is just file down just a little bit for there to be some actual clearance, space. Now that I'm happy with the way that it folds, I can mix up another little batch of glue, slide this back, apply the glue, and just slide it in, and then leave the glue to set. Now that I've mixed up a new batch of glue here, I just apply like so, make the truck mode, and let it actually set in truck mode to ensure that the truck will transform as it should, that there's no leeway here or there. It's set according to the actual truck mode. And as you can see, the truck mode is not hindered in any way. Everything folds as it should. And now I'm just going to leave it to set, and then I'll show you how it transforms. Now that all the parts have set, you're done. Well, let's do it. We've completely removed the cape. We've given him some smokestacks, and he's fully transformable. Thanks for watching.